Out on YouTube, Facebook, and X. And for the premier sports talk experience, tap into our Roku channel. Start your mornings with Mac and Jack covering all the weekend sports action. Then pour a cup and enjoy all the sports you can drink on the Coffee and Sports podcast. At midday, talk sports from east to west on the Coast to Coast podcast. Followed at night by some hot girl talk with Prim and Proper Sports featuring Sonia Pearson. Talk boxing on the Gloved Fist. Yankee fans tune in for Start Spreading the News. And there's more on the College Sports Huddle and Sports Scope with Robert Butler. And that's just a sampling. There are 20 podcasts in all and 70 weekly shows giving us a 3.4-star viewer rating. To find us on Roku TV, search for National Streaming Sports on the Roku search bar. Click on the logo and you're in. For laptops, mobile phones, and tablets, download the Roku app. National Streaming Sports, live and on demand, sports talk for America.
This show is brought to you by BetUS.com. 125% off your first 3 deposits, 30 years experience, secure site, wagering for all sports, including during the games and futures. SeatGeek provides you the best prices on sports and music events, game tickets, and concerts. Use NSS promo code to get $20 off your first ticket. Keep using the NSS promo code when purchasing tickets for great deals in the future. In Fanatics at nessp.info for your favorite teams, sportswear. Click on the link, and while you're there, check out our national streaming sports merchandise. Well, it's Wednesday, guys. And if you follow us right this way, we'll be talking about the biggest news in sports. I'm your host, Mac, your co-host, Bo Crouch and James Martin, the J Train, and hopefully soon we'll be having in Our Lady of Football and Sports, Sonia Peterson, and the Reverend himself, Keith Angle. So, guys, let's get to the NBA first. It started yesterday at 2 games. And, we talked about all the time with, the big trades that were made in the offseason, right? The Knicks pick up 2, send 2 to Minnesota. The Philadelphia 76ers were real busy. But maybe, guys, the best deal of all was the Celtics just re-signing the guys they had last year.
It's nothing like keeping continuity and stability in your team, especially when you won a championship. Kind of looks like you want to head the same direction.
Yeah, I mean, if you looked at the game, right? I mean, it looked like they knew what they were doing. The Knicks were struggling a little bit with the outside defense, and they were, trying to get their team together for their run later on. It's only 1 game, but still, the Celtics still look like, to me, the number 1 team in the NBA at this point. I would think that you all both would agree with that anyway. So we have the Lakers, LeBron and Bronny. They get in the game. History is made. Second quarter for about 3 minutes, and Bronny makes 0 shots, and and whatever. Hopefully, guys, this is the last time that I have to talk about Bronny James for the rest of the year.
I mean. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bo. Go ahead, Bo.
Oh, no. Go ahead. I don't have anything positive to say anyway.
I was just going to say, even LeBron at the end of the game kind of, he talks in he's cryptic when he speaks. It sounded like he was speaking cryptic to his son as well, that, there's like only room for 400 plus guys in the league. You got to work hard. Virtually just telling him, hey, you got your shot in here. Now I got you in here. Now you got to make your way. So eventually he's going to have to work hard and make his way to be a better player than what he is. And he's not a guy that really deserves to be. I mean, he's gotten ahead. There was some nepotism there, and he's gotten ahead of some other players. just because his father was LeBron James. We know that.
Yeah, I mean, he was drafted ahead of a guy that was on his team that's better than him in college. So, I mean, yeah, obviously the James name went a long ways. They did this for LeBron, right? And I know that they're saying history's made, but, you know, they had Griffey Sr. and Jr. in the stands. That was history made. And his son was ready for Major League Baseball, right? Bronny is ready for the G League. And, you know, and it's not a slight at Bronny. His game isn't there yet. And that's okay. Like, you cannot be ready. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, as soon as you say that, people immediately attack you. They're like, oh, you hate him because he's Bron's kid. It's like, no, like, if you have eyes, you can see the game isn't at the pro level yet. And that's fine. It's why the G League exists. So, I mean, the fact that they dialed up 3 minutes was specifically for TV ratings. It had absolutely nothing to do with the fact that Bronny should be on the court, right? And, I mean, it's also why he got 3 minutes, because they're like, okay, well, I mean, we kind of have to do this because cameras are here and people are here. But, I mean, in any other scenario, he doesn't come off the bench at all. So I don't imagine he's with the Lakers all year. I'm sure he'll end up in the G League. You know, he has a 2-year contract, so he's going to get paid either way. But I can't imagine they bury a roster spot with him for the whole year.
And to me, it was just a distraction from what would seem to be like the debut of JJ Redick's opening as a coach. I mean, they look great playing through Anthony Davis. I mean, it really looked really good. Everything seemed the scheme, everything looked good. And you can tell that Minnesota is missing Karl Anthony Towns for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
I would agree with that too. You know, when I look at something like this, you know, there are players that they are, you know, they're specific in what they do, right? Bronny James looks like he could be a good defender, and maybe that will be his niche when he gets back and comes back into the league. But he's got a lot of work, guys, to cut out for him to become an NBA player. In fact, in high school, I mean, he wasn't even the top guy with the McDonald's All-American team, and he ended up on the All-American team. So, you know, there's definitely the LeBron name, the James name is definitely a good reason for him. Good evening, Daniel Berry Sports, West Coast Wen. Glad to have you aboard again. Boke, yeah, he does, J.I. He calls it just like it is. And let's see. J.I.
See, it's that right there. Yes. Like, AD is perfect the first month of the year. That's where everybody's like, oh, man, this is the guy that they drafted. Now, he's been in the league a long time. I don't know how we keep saying that kind of stuff. But they're like, oh, this is the guy. He's going to become superhuman and somehow become a leader. And he's been in the league for like 12 years now, right? Like, if it hasn't happened, it's not going to happen, guys.
Yeah.
No, Charles Barkley gave him a nickname called Street Clothes for a reason, because he gets it all the time and he's always in street clothes.
I love Chuck.
There you go. So, yeah, I mean, I don't see him being good for till a couple of years. Anthony Davis does get injured quite a bit down the road. He could be the number one guy there. I don't know if LeBron James, he keeps saying he's willing to give it to him, but he keeps coming up injured. So, yes, it was hilarious. Yeah, Jay is quite the
You know, the one thing that I did like about, you know, because they had LeBron mic'd up, right? And it was, I think it was before the game. I don't know if they had a mic'd up all game or not. I honestly didn't watch a lot of it. But they had him mic'd up before, and he was talking to Bronny. And he's like, you ready? And he's like, yeah. He's like, you see the intensity? And he's like, yeah. He's like, get out there, play free. You know, so it's just like it was good advice, and you're just like, oh, okay, cool. Like that's what you should have. But then, you know, Bronny was out there for the right amount of time.
Yes, he definitely was.
JJ Redick is dialing up plays right from the bench.
Yes, he is. He is. With LeBron's approval, of course. We have Monday night, Baltimore. Listen, Lamar Jackson with 5 touchdowns, Henry with 169 yards. It was a good game. It was a very entertaining game for a while. Godwin out all year now. Evans is expected back maybe in 6 weeks. Listen, that's 50% of their offense, Godwin and Evans, and losing them is really going to hurt them. I know they may be on the waiver wire trying to get another receiver, or maybe they're going to stick with what they got. But listen, a Baker Mayfield game, right? He throws interceptions, he throws touchdowns, and the running game wasn't bad either. I mean, it was an entertaining game. But listen, Baltimore Ravens look ready this year. We'll see what they do in the playoffs. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, I think Baltimore just seems to be outclassing every other team, and Tampa. That's saying a lot, because Tampa is the class of the NFC South right now, and they just made them look like chopped liver, man. I mean, it really did. Baltimore is on their way, like you said, until they get to Superman and his team, and then Kansas City. They got to get over that hump. It seems like Lamar Jackson is Superman, but his kryptonite is Kansas City. So yeah. I mean, if they can get past them, they're the favorites for me. They're the favorites for me if they get past them. But that's a big if.
Yeah. No, and I'm with you there. Like, I like everything we're seeing out of Baltimore. We just need them to not try and get cute. We need Harbaugh to not do the Kyle Shanahan, outsmart himself, and get away from the things that this team does well. I mean, we watched it in the playoffs last year where they decided, hey, we're not going to run the ball at all. We watched it the first 2 weeks of this year where they didn't really run the ball, despite the fact that they have an absolute monster at running back. And now that they've realized, hey, maybe we should get him the ball, they're just destroying people. So as long as they don't get too far ahead of themselves, yeah, absolutely. Like, they absolutely look like the team to beat there.
And there are two players. I'm sorry, Matt. Sorry. There are two players that I think that are solidifying themselves as front runners for MVP. One is Lamar Jackson. The other is Josh Allen. I just don't see anybody else, to be honest with you, that would be that top two.
As much as it's like weird to come out of your mouth, you have to have Jared Goff in that conversation.
That's true. That's true. But I just think that his Achilles heel is that when pressure gets in his face, man, he gets rattled. It's just not.
I'm with you, but I mean, he's throwing down like perfect passer rating games. I mean, you can't rule him out.
He's carving.
But at the same time, it's Goff, so it's like it's weird to have come out of your mouth,
Right.
So, I mean, honestly, it's that's one of those, like, dark horse for it is Geno.
I was gonna say he would be okay. Yeah, I was gonna say those two would be dark horses. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. But I mean, at the same time, and they're dark horses not because of the stats they're putting up, because the stats say they're there. But it's because the name's attached. People are like, yeah, there's no way we're voting for that.
You both are bringing up quarterbacks. I'm going to throw a couple running backs at you. I think, listen, they already gave Lamar the MVP last year. So I think just because of that, they may not give it to him this year. But if you're going to take a look, King Henry is having a hell of a season. Of course, we're early yet. We still got to find out what happens by week 17. And Saquon Barkley may be the only reason the Eagles go as far as they do this year. So, I mean, I think you could throw those two running backs in there too, with the MVPs, even though it is a quarterback award most times. I was going to
say, there's no way.
Most times.
I agree with you, Mac, mostly because I love running back position. It's my favorite. I played it in high school, and I think it's totally underrated. It's one of the most underrated positions now. They're starting to utilize them a lot more. But like you said, man, it's just a quarterback-driven league now, and it's like they should change it to the quarterback award and just give the offensive player to everybody else outside of quarterbacks, because it's just MVP seems to have gone to the quarterbacks now. It's just hard. But they would have to get 2,000 yards in order to sniff it at that position.
Yeah, and their quarterback would have to be non-existent, like not even touching the field. Like direct snaps to the running back. Right. Yeah, no, and I hate that about the MVP at this point is unless you are a quarterback, you almost can't win it. The last two non-quarterbacks to win what is Adrian Peterson, right? And then Sean Alexander. And that's in the last 20 plus years.
Oh, LaDainian too as well.
Oh, okay.
When he had like 28 TDs or something like that. He had to do something phenomenal. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah, well, and that's how Sean Alexander had it, right? Like he had the rushing title and the most touchdowns ever by a running back, I think, at the time. Right. And then it's just, yes, I do hate the MVP and the way it's constructed because it's not the most valuable player. Because there are times that your quarterback isn't the most valuable player on that team. So,
well, if you look at it, right, guys, every quarterback could be considered on a good team could be considered the MVP, right? I mean, if they get to a playoff or they're getting ready for a playoff, of course your quarterback's the MVP of that team for the most part. You know, I mean, you could direct snap to Barkley, and I think the Eagles still would win 10 games. But beside the point, Jay, I asked about any defensive players that have a chance. What do you think?
No, not even close. So my pushback on that MVP thing is when you think back to the Ravens, they win a Super Bowl with Dilfer. And nobody's saying he's the MVP. Ray Lewis was probably the MVP. Ed Reed, right? One of those guys, they're the MVP of that. Yeah. So there's zero chance that you're like, oh, you know what? Dilfer's that dude. Like 0 days ever. And I'm not even hating on Dilfer. Like he did exactly what he needed to do. But he's not the throw the team on your back and make it happen guy.
He had a big guy by the name of Jamal Lewis behind him that could run for
no doubt
1,500 yards, right?
And he was smart with the football. I mean, he did come in, protect the ball, make the plays he had to make. But at the same time, that defense is what ran that team.
Exactly.
Same with 2002 Tampa, right? With Brad Johnson, right?
Yeah, or the Seahawks, right? Like that was
right.
There's a reason Russell Wilson didn't get a single MVP vote that year, because although they won a ring and he did some special things, that defense won that championship.
Right.
That's very true. So as I spoke about Derrick Henry a little bit before, Jerry Jones and his great personality and his knowledge of the game said, they didn't go after Derrick Henry because they don't have a system like the Ravens, and that he wouldn't do as good with us as he does with the Ravens, so that's why we didn't get him. Well, Jerry Jones, make a system for Derrick Henry. I mean, what are you talking about? I have no idea what this guy's talking about.
So that doesn't even make sense, because he came out a month ago and said they just couldn't afford him.
Right.
And that statement was actually accurate, right? Like they were way over the cap, and I mean unless they were going to redesign a bunch of stuff, there was no way they were going to do it. But if you're saying, oh, he doesn't fit in your system, I don't know what kind of crack you're smoking, but that dude fits in every system because he's a huge human that's also fast.
Right.
Just open a window and let that dude run through it.
Yes.
He would find a way to alter your system to give that guy the ball. I mean, that don't even make sense. I think Jerry likes to talk, and he doesn't like to lose. Who likes to lose? But Jerry definitely doesn't like to lose, and he doesn't like to be wrong. And he was wrong in that regard, not taking that guy. Why would you not grab him and put him in your team? Because, I mean, now you got the oldest running back room. That guy, he's 30 years old, but he spends $250,000 in the offseason to take care of himself, and he's still pretty fast.
Yeah, I would say I'd go that far. I would definitely say that too. So yeah, Jerry Jones is getting up there, and I really don't think Jerry Jones knows what he wants to do. I don't know if he wants to win a Super Bowl or if he just wants to enjoy the spotlight, because it seems to be contradicting each other right now. There's a lot of rumors about Micah Parsons and Dak Prescott, all kinds of things going around social media right now, and I'm not sure what's true and what's not anymore. But I do know that Jerry Jones doesn't really look like he wants to to win the Super Bowl anymore. It just seems that way to me. I'm not sure.
I mean, like, I think where he buried himself coming into this year is he made that stupid statement of we're all in. And the cap space that they had would indicate you can't be all in, because coming into the year, they were like 20 million over the cap. That's why they lost so many players. Yeah. I mean, yeah, they were able to keep some guys, but they were so far over the cap. Like, saying I'm all in, I'm going to win the Powerball, but my bank account is bankrupt and I can't buy a ticket. You know how many times you're going to win the Powerball? 0 times, because you didn't buy a ticket.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. So in the other game, the Peekaboo Cardinals, I call them Peekaboo because you're not sure what you're going to get from them. One day they jump up there and they look, hey, look, they look pretty good. The next day they jump up there and they just look terrible. They did upset the Chargers. You had Herbert throwing for 349 yards without a TD. On the other hand, you have the quarterback for the Cardinals doing his thing, throwing for a touchdown, running for a touchdown. How can you throw over 349 yards and not get a touchdown? I don't understand.
I mean, they had that sequence where they had like 4 penalties in a row that moved them almost out of field goal range. They also, like, if you saw the first quarter of it, they had this, like, you remember Football Follies, right?
Yes.
Back in the 80s.
Yes.
There was a sequence during that first quarter where they get an interception and then it gets punched out into a fumble. It gets kicked off the defender's foot, rolls back like 35 yards. Cardinals get it back. Like, you can't. That's the most Football Follies kind of play ever, and it wasn't the only one like it during the game. So, I mean, then you add that to the why are we having 2 Monday night games that are competing against each other? That one was on ESPN Plus, which was the most like ESPN Plus thing to have, was this just absolute trash game that they're making you pay to watch.
Right. Right.
It was, I mean, man. There was so much wrong with that.
There definitely was. Listen again. I mean, the Cardinals. I don't know how to take them anymore. I don't know if they're going to be a sleeper as we thought at one time, or if they're just going to, keep doing this and end up, around 500 somewhere, or maybe under 500. James.
I think you look at the roster and you still need some pieces there. I don't think there's much inconsistency from the quarterback. The quarterback's doing the best he can. I don't know, and I also don't know what's the relationship between him and the young receiver, Marvin Harrison Jr. That's the guy you want to get the ball. I mean, maybe he's getting doubled, and maybe they don't have enough help on the other side to have a receiver, another receiver to be able to get him the ball. I like their running back, James Conner. I think they have some options. There's some hope there. It's just not this year. I mean, this is sort of like a rebuild. This is a rebuild for them, I think.
Yeah.
And so it's just going to take time to get some more players in and to get, again, continuity, consistency with the offense. And then the defense, you draft a guy in the first round, he's yet to play. He's been hurt. So, I mean, and somebody that can make a difference in the run game, stop me a rush defense, and they couldn't do that just yet. So I just think it's going to be time. It's just bad luck with a lot of teams right now. Of course, my team, New Orleans, I don't want to talk about them, but
don't worry.
Yes, but I'm just saying, it's just that they need help, and they don't have it right now.
That is true. That is true. How you doing, Sonia? Glad to have you on tonight. Glad you stopped in.
Hey, good evening, guys. Doing well. Hope y'all are too.
Yeah, we are. That's okay. Don't worry about it. We went through the NBA, Baltimore, the Cardinals, and of course Jerry Jones a little bit till you came in here. So we're gonna push on right now to the Pats and the Jets on Sunday. This is going to be really interesting to me because you have the Jets that seem to play their hearts out in the first half, and then they go into halftime, and everybody says, "Well, that was a good game," and then they come out and they say, "Whatever," and they end up losing, and they end up losing every Sunday with that kind of attitude. And you have Drake May, who plays his best in the second half. So Is it possible that the Patriots can upset the New York Jets? What do you think, Sonia, since you came in?
Yeah, you guys know how I'm not a fan of the Aaron Rodgers crew. It's like he's Gladys Knight. High West Coast win. It's like he's Gladys Knight and everybody else is the pips for the Jet squad. I mean, including management. I think that Drake May can definitely get this done. He's shown some very good discipline, which I still think that the Jets lack. Part of it is because of they're just undisciplined. There's so much drama from a mental perspective that is, bleeding over into how they're playing. I feel like, even though he's gotten Devontae Adams and we even saw, Mike Williams played, Rodgers passed him the ball this last game. And he got, a good reception, which was great for him. So I don't know, maybe they've buried the hatchet on that. It's just so much, I watch football so that I can see sports. I don't watch football to see soap operas or, dramas. I mean, I can get that from Lifetime, and some good Tyler Perry shows. I don't watch it for that. I watch it for the machoism, for the, the plays, the muscle, the grain, all of that. And right now, I'm just not getting any of that from the Jets. And so, even though they're 1-6, the Jets are not that much far removed at 2-5 that they cannot be humbled down a notch. I would absolutely love to see it, especially a rookie versus a vet. Maybe show him some humility. If they go ahead and get this done on Sunday at 1:00, I will be standing by for the scores. I think the Panthers are playing at that time. I mean, I know what the outcome of that game is going to be, but I still have to, keep a side eye on them in case, Yeah, Mac. I mean, I really hope that the Pats get it done.
Well, as we talk about the Pats, of course.
Yes, my guy Keith.
In comes Keith Angle, and Keith always with a red face when he's sitting next to Sonia. I don't know what's going on there. But,
his wife's a lawyer. That's why.
Yeah. Oh, well, there you go. Got two lawyers. Keith,
right.
We were talking about Aaron Rodgers, and of course
Matt got a new hat. Sorry, I just got this.
Yeah, listen, hey, there you go. It's new to you, Keith. I wear it when you're not around. So
all right.
All right. That's all right. But anyway, Keith, let's get back to football. The Patriots against the Jets, and your coach called out the team, said they're all soft. I don't know how that's going to work, for this game. But as we were saying, Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, they do pretty good in the first half, but in the second half, they think the game's over and the other team either catches up or wins. What do you think about your Pats?
I think I talked about this either on this show last week or the Friday show or Sunday show or all of them, that I'm quickly losing confidence in Gerard Mayo, who I had a lot of confidence in. As bad a job as this coaching staff has done with penalties, this, that, and the other thing, to call out your team for being soft when they're playing shorthanded on defense, and you've got your old coach going on TV saying those guys aren't soft, those guys play hard. I know every one of them, and you shouldn't be calling them out. And there's a lot of rumors swirling around now in the Foxborough area that this could be one and done if things don't change pretty quick, especially attitude and culturally wise. I don't expect a lot to change wins and losses the rest of the year. We're catching the Jets at a good time, or maybe the Jets are catching us at a good time. I'm not really sure which is true, because it's not pretty right now. You can't be a first-year head coach and call out your team the way he is when they've been as ill-prepared as this team has been pretty much game in and game out.
Hey, James, you've been quiet. So what do you think if it ends in a 17-17 tie? Wouldn't that be great? I would love it.
No, that'd be terrible. I mean, it'd be great to see Aaron Rodgers in a pickle again, like he's been in the past few games. But I've been giving him a pass these past few games because I'm thinking like, okay, they're going to turn it around. They're going to turn it around. They're going to win. They're going to start winning because they have a really good defense. Hey, he's starting to get a connection with Garrett Wilson. It looks like he's going to do better with him. Hey, maybe Breece Hall is going to start getting a 100-yard game. Everything's starting to happen, but for whatever reason, they're still losing. If they lose this game against the Patriots, and no offense, my man,
None will be taken. Don't worry.
right, so you're struck down by lightning. But I just think that if they lose to the Patriots, who else do you fire? You already fired your coach. I mean, what else do you do? I mean, you fire Aaron Rodgers, you bench him. I mean, and who do you have behind him? There's nobody. This is a debacle. I just don't know what else to think. That's terrible. They should win this game, but if they lose, that's just wow. This is pretty bad.
If they lose, you're tied with the Patriots. So how bad is that?
I just realized the Patriots have the same record as the Panthers. No wonder I'm like so co-signing over here. I'm so sorry, Steve.
Okay.
I didn't realize you guys were equal with us. So Panthers, Patriots. We're gonna have to start our own podcast here.
I got 6 rings that comfort me when I go to sleep at night.
There we go.
Gotta live in the past.
Meanwhile, Dak Prescott is giving away a ring because he sure won't ever get one.
That's the truth. That's the truth. Bo, what are your thoughts? I seen you talking about Aaron Rodgers a little bit. He throws everybody under the bus. He says it's my fault, and then he gives all the reasons why it wasn't his fault. It's hilarious.
Well, so he only kind of made it his fault, right? He's like, I got to start with me. I got to play better. And then just buried the rest of his guys for like 15 minutes and then capped it off with, but I got to play better. And I'm like, I don't think that means what you think it means, man. Like, when you say, hey, I got to play better, that's where you say, this is where I need to play better. Right? Not
that's it.
Yeah. Yes. If maybe we start running the ball better or this guy catches the ball, and not to say that he's entirely wrong. They rushed for 54 yards. That's terrible. Garrett Wilson has one bounce off his hands into an interception. Admittedly, that's terrible. And when most quarterbacks come out and say that, you're like, okay, yeah, you can accept that. But when it's Rodgers, you're like, dude, all you do is bury your guys. Like, we want to hear you you talk about accountability, and then you just burn everybody.
By the way, though, he started out by blaming the press before he blamed himself. He's
listening to you.
You got to stop listening to you guys. That was his answer.
You see why he's not married. He doesn't stay in a relationship. He can't accept blame. Can you imagine? Ain't no woman putting up with that. I'm wrong all the time, and you're never wrong. That's why Danica Patrick probably broke up with him.
Yes, and he's estranged from his family. He's estranged from his family. His brother and him, they don't talk. I mean, there's a whole thing going on behind the scenes with Aaron Rodgers. I just love the looks he gives when he's walking out the field and he sits in the bench. He's like, what other guy can we get to make us win here? It's like, you're the guy. That's what they wanted, was you to win, not anybody else, Aaron. Now,
I just like when he's like, oh, yeah, I was wrong, but everyone else was more wrong.
They were wronger. They were
wronger.
Right. I'm just glad it's not on my team. That's all I could say. Because
it's coming. It's coming. Don't brag too much. Gino Newport smoking Smith. It's coming.
Newport smoking.
Yeah. Every time I look at him, I think he looks like he smokes Newports. I mean,
I'm just saying we don't have the chaos. I'm glad
I've been saying it for a while.
And
I don't know, Bo. Bo, you do have a little bit of chaos there with your receiver. He's a little bit of a diva there.
A lot of a diva. A lot of a diva.
Yeah.
And speaking of smoking, I know Keith's old enough to remember, probably Bo too. That's what you did on the bench during the game. You lit up a smoke.
Yes,
right there. I have never had a puff of a cigarette in my life.
No, I'm talking about quarterbacks.
On his team.
Quarterbacks, Keith. Yeah,
there's a famous picture of Lenny Dawson smoking in the locker room at halftime of the Super Bowl.
He put that disclaimer out quick. I've never had a puff.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were talking about smoking. I want to be careful.
He doesn't even use inhalers if he had asthma. He don't want no puffs.
So the thing that's funny is I actually haven't either. So I'm right there with you, Keith.
Oh, wow.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Grew up with a family.
You guys are so golden rulish. Oh wow, I'm
We
so
are.
conflicted over
No,
here.
so similarly, like when I was a kid, both my parents did, and then they both quit, and I just never did.
Same with
My
here.
sister did.
Same here.
So
I replaced it with heroin, but that's
Oh wow. Okay, well, wow. This show just went way left.
Wow.
Went way left.
that's right. Who needs
I
a
knew
gateway
I saw
when
you
can just
somewhere.
jump in?
I
knew.
saw Keith somewhere. There was
So-
a picture
so
in the
you
post
guys-
office of Keith, I think. Good.
So wait,
I'm
so
the
this is
fattest
the
heroin
thing.
addict ever is what I am.
You can't say too soon for what I'm about to say. You are a Boston fan, Keith. We do know what happened with Lynn Bias. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, it's not too soon. That was 30 years ago. That's okay.
Right. But he was on heroin
40 years
and you
ago.
see what happened. So I'm not surprised that you're a heroin person too for being
You were surprised about Len Bias, right?
I was just
Wow.
kid. I barely remembered. I was like 12 or 13.
So Keith,
I
the
like
red,
that she
the red
signs
moniker,
on the heroin, but the smoking, she's like, eh.
the red moniker is an alias, huh? It's a cover up.
Yes, trying
that's
to
right.
now.
That's right.
Keith
Steve.
Angle
There
is
goes-
his pseudonym. Keith Angle is
Yes.
his pseudonym. I knew it didn't sound right. I knew it.
There we
He's
go.
got an
Yeah,
angle. He's got an angle.
the sponsors are quickly filing different kinds of things against
I
international
was
streaming
going to say,
sports.
it's actually just a different sponsor now. It comes directly from Columbia.
Well, when Danny Fuller keeps calling me out about my giant playoff pick, I just blame the heroin use now, and it's easier
There
to.
you go. It's built
Let's
in.
go ahead and
It's
do this
built in.
disclaimer now, Mac.
So,
Drugs are not cool.
so
If
let's
you
get to- let's
know
get back-
has problems
let's get to-
with
let's-
substance abuse.
well, let's get back to sports. Let's get back to wait a minute, guys. Let's get back to sports now. I mean, we've talked enough nonsense.
I'm not condoning drug use, just to be clear.
Okay, well, thank you, Keith. Thank you, Keith. That's a disclaimer. Anyway, listen, we have a lot of big trades that have been happening. Of course, Devontae Adams is now Devontae Hopkins. Sorry, is now with the Chiefs. They're 6-0. Gives them another big possession receiver instead of just having Kelsey there. I think it really helps the team a lot. I don't know if he's the number one receiver. I think Kelsey, if you're going to count him as a receiver, is still the number one receiver. But this gives them another option to keep the chains moving, to score touchdowns when they're down there. And it just makes the Chiefs better again.
Fourth round draft pick. It's a no-brainer. He's got enough game left to help this offense, this good an offense, right? He obviously can't help a bad offense. We know that, but a good offense, he'll be a difference maker, I believe, for sure.
Yes.
Like that was.
Anybody else got any comments on that? I mean, that just makes the Chiefs 7-0 next week, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's deep. So D-Hop has become kind of irrelevant. Let's be honest. He's just dwindled on down and become a journeyman. This is his lucky day. This is his cash cow. The freaking Chiefs call you up, dude. Go ahead and get your ring, and then you can retire. That's what's happening here.
Well, and he's going to be a slot receiver there, which is amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like he is going to destroy nickel corners and outside
Absolutely.
linebackers.
Absolutely.
Because his catch radius is still amazing. His
Yeah.
route tree is fantastic. Can he
Yeah.
be
Agree.
number one burner anymore? Probably not. But if he's your third option, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. Bryce Young is starting this Sunday, and why not? I mean, there's a car crash. I know Dalton's
Yeah.
family, and maybe Andy is going to be evaluated. But why are we not playing Bryce Young all the time anyway? I never got going to Andy Dalton. Picked up the team a little bit, but they're not going to the Super Bowl. They're probably not making the playoffs, or they're not making the playoffs, to be honest. And I mean, Bryce Young, let him play. I mean, what can happen besides Sonya leaving?
Bye-bye.
I'm here. So first of all, Andy has like a thumb injury, and so it's just not just being evaluated. Thank God he's okay. But you are right, Mac. I will, agree. I mean, we're losing anyway. Just go ahead and give him some more practice. Andy picked up the team for one laugh, but I think it was you guys I was telling last week what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. We won the game, and then we haven't won since, so it stayed in Vegas. So here we are. It's just I don't know. Somebody had a meme out the other day, and they were like, "You're the new Roger Goodell. What would be your first order of business?" And I commented, I don't even know who the person was. I commented and said, "Go ahead and ensure that David Tepper relinquishes his management of the team. Like, just go ahead, sell it to somebody else. We want to stay in Charlotte, but you have done a horrible job at this team, and everybody has an off season, but it has been more coaches, more quarterbacks, and more losses since the Tepper reign has taken over than any time in franchise history. And we are just now 30 years old, and we have lost like the last 6 freaking seasons. It's insane.
Yeah, Tepper's gone through the same amount of coaches as the Steelers have as an organization.
Yeah. I guess he's going for the 52-man roster.
And Greg says you can jump out of the
bandwagon there.
Thank you, Craig. I am officially on and riding with you guys. Thank you.
Worst team in the NFL right now: Patriots, Panthers, Giants. I'm trying to think of any other ones there. The Titans.
What was the first team you said?
Patriots. Panthers.
Oh, yeah.
Kicked me out. You asked me about the bad teams. You kicked me out of the room.
Oh my God, Linda! I will talk to you later. You played that one for me. You're supposed to play the one that said I'm a default Lions fan this season, just because I want to enjoy the game and their canines as well. They're part of the Proud family.
No, that was a better cut.
At least my makeup was done. Hey,
yeah,
hey.
That's very true. Very true. So, anyway, some more of the trades that happened. We'll see if Dennis Riddler solves the puzzle of how to be a good starting quarterback as he ends up in Vegas. Dennis Riddler.
Who's that?
Dennis Riddler, who was
not Riddler.
Spencer Rattler?
No.
He used to play for the Falcons.
Desmond Ritter.
Oh,
Desmond Ritter.
Desmond. Listen, first and last names are very important on this show.
Well, he is an enigma. He is an enigma, so he is the Riddler.
You got it, but no one knew. That's why I was like, "Is this someone new signed?" I'm confused.
No, it's his name now. I've given him James, and he was over in the West with you guys, and he can't. We'll see if he can figure it out in Vegas. I guess. I don't know.
Oh wow. God.
What other choice do they have? And it's unfortunate because the rookie Brock Bowers is balling out, man. He's on pace to beat Mike Ditka's rookie record for over 1,000 yards, and he's on a really trash team right now.
Yeah. There's a lot of players like that. We mentioned Seattle got a linebacker or two, a receiver. I think Olave went somewhere too. I'm not sure.
Oh, that's a lot of moves, man.
Olave, no.
That's not true.
No? Okay. All right.
No.
Research before we're live.
Okay.
This is horrible.
He's throwing.
I believe you. I mean, what was it, Thomas? Was it Thomas that ended up getting traded?
From the Saints?
Yeah, somebody did.
No.
All right.
Oh my God, I'm about to check it right now.
All right. Okay.
No.
All right.
He's throwing shots, man.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, all of a sudden, you're just relegating teams out of the NFL into D2. Yeah. Like, what are we doing?
Well, hold
on. There
is some Alvin Kamara news.
Oh no, he got money. He got paid.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what it is. Okay,
he's not going anywhere.
Yeah. So I bet he wishes he could though. I mean, I don't know.
They are hot diarrhea right now.
That wasn't it. That wasn't like in his press conference. He's like, I don't want to wear another jersey. Like, I don't.
Yes.
They are food poison diarrhea right now. Projectile.
Now, if we're food poison diarrhea, you're lower than us. So what are you?
We're even, sweetie. Listen, you guys are projectile vomit. All that gumbo.
Okay.
I did have a question for you, actually, because we ran out of time last week, and you were talking about moving on from Bryce. So what in a trade? Yeah. So what in a trade would make that make sense based on what they gave up to go get him?
Absolutely nothing. And that's why I said we got to pay Chicago another season, and then we're finally even. It's like taking out a loan with a loan shark with a cash till payday. And every payday you're supposed to pay them back, but you pay a percentage of it. They're just going to keep adding the interest onto it. And you never get your full check again. You have to end up closing your whole bank account so they can't withdraw it. Ask me how I know about it. Don't worry about it. But I'm just saying that's what I think about when I think about this trade. And I'm just letting you guys know it was the worst trade in NFL history. I'm saying that. What the Panthers did, I have not ever heard of, unless it's something before my time that I just couldn't research. I've never heard of a trade so bad. It's got so many moving pieces. Even Christian McCaffrey was part of this domino effect. And I still don't know how he got looped into it, but he did.
I believe Russell Wilson has entered the chat.
Yes,
Because he never even took a snap under his deal.
Nope. They paying him Dollar Tree prices for Walmart expertise.
So something.
Oh, is there a big difference there?
Something
Yes.
you
Target.
something that you never thought you'd hear, and it hasn't been said in the last 2 years. You have to run the ball to win, and that's even in a regular season now, guys. These are your top 5 rushing teams: Baltimore, Philadelphia, Washington, Detroit, and Green Bay all have Super Bowl aspirations. The bottom 5 teams: Cincinnati, Cleveland, Las Vegas, the New York Jets, and the Dallas Cowboys.
Who said you didn't need to run the ball to win, though? I mean, they devalued running backs because they won't pay them. You still need to run the ball to win, though. It's not the same thing.
The last 2 years, passing, Keith. That's what we've been doing. That's what. But it's a quarterback. It's a quarterback league. Yes,
the Chiefs two Super Bowls with effective running game as well as throwing the football.
But what has been said, you're taking the example. I mean, you're not talking about normally what people say.
The team that wins, yes, the team that wins.
The exception here is the Chiefs. What I'm saying is that they have said that it's been a throwing league for the last 2 years, last 3 years, really
longer than that.
So right, we can go all the way back to the early 90s. But right now, with the teams that are running the ball are either in first place or right there at the top. The teams that are not, for the most part, are at the bottom.
But the teams that pass most effectively and win games, by the way, and championships can also run the ball at important parts of the game. Patriots for years during the dynasty, they close out games running the football. So what's Herb saying there?
That's so sweet. Bows, bro.
Yep. Thanks for stopping, guys.
No, running a football has never been unimportant. They've made the running back position, as far as on a pay scale, unimportant in their mind. They feel they can replace anybody with just another body. But it's so important. The good teams still run the ball effectively.
So the problem with that list, and you're right, their rushing totals are terrible. With those same teams, tell me where those defenses rank. Because those defenses, they don't play at all. Dallas, half the time you're looking at a receiver catching the ball without one of the Cowboys in the frame. Not like in an area to make a play. They're not on the screen. The Bengals just don't play defense at all. They're just like, you know what? We're going to try and outrun you. That's it.
Well, they got me 12 points on my fantasy. I got the Bengals defense.
Hey, that must have been the 1 week. I mean, the thing is, you know, the teams you're laying out there, they're not going to have good rushing totals because they're behind all the time. So they have to go to pass.
Good point. Great point.
If they are one-dimensional, of course they're not going to be in championship aspirations because their defense is on the field all day and you have to throw. Now, the Jets, they don't necessarily have great running backs.
The Jets are not, are throwing because they're behind. Normally they're ahead in the first half.
No, the Jets are just dysfunctional top to bottom. Like that's an outlier. Like the Jets are the Jets. That's like saying the Browns, right? The Browns are the Browns. They could have the best roster in the world. They will actively find a way to lose.
And speaking of that,
Browns fans on my page tonight.
Winston is going to be starting this week finally for the Browns, and we'll see if he can turn that offense around a little bit. I don't know. We'll find out.
But they signed Zappy today. They signed you guys' former, and now the Chiefs or whoever,
Yes, Zappy is still alive and well, backing up Winston right now. So
good luck, Cleveland.
I'm having a Browns guest on my show tonight at 9. You guys have got to check him out. He's a diehard Browns fan.
How'd you find him?
He works with me at this firm I'm at. He's an attorney.
Oh,
okay.
I didn't know there were such things.
Tell him long gone are the days of Marty Ball. Marty
Well, why don't you guys just
Schottenheimer.
tune in at 9 o'clock and add that in the chat?
Yeah.
Sorry, Mac. I'm promoting. Sorry.
That's okay. There's nothing wrong with a little promo here and there. Do the 49ers consider trading Brock Purdy?
Ooh.
No.
For what?
No.
Like, what are you going to get?
No.
Oh my God, we would take him.
You need a quarterback.
no.
I
What did
mean,
they
you don't
get in
just trade a
return?
quarterback without one. Why would you trade it? Why would they trade him?
Right, he's winning.
Because they're going to have to pay him this year coming up.
Well, they want to pay him. Yeah.
He's not doing so well. And if they keep him, what kind of contract does he get? I don't think he's going to get a MVP type contract or a Dak Prescott contract or anything like that. I think it'll be a little bit lower.
Give him top 5. Bury that team. They're in our division.
Listen, I would Brock Purdy. If Brock Purdy ends up in the top 5, I'll be shocked because Brock Purdy's a good player with good players around him. But if you don't surround him, you see right now that he's struggling a bit. But he's still a good quarterback, an effective game manager, if you will. But and I wouldn't move on from him. But I wouldn't pay if he's gonna. They got to pay him top dollar. Then yeah, I would move on for sure. But I don't think that's the case.
They're not
As
going
a
to trade
fan,
him.
I need them to pay him top dollar.
They're not going to trade
think about it. Think about it. Brock Purdy's last game looked awful. I'll be honest with you. He was hitting people in the helmets with the football. And they're going to have to break up this 49er crew here. They're paying big bucks for all these people here. And a lot of these contracts are coming up. And this is why I'm saying, do you get rid of them, get some draft choices, and start to rebuild?
What are you going to get for him in a draft choice?
You're not going to get much.
I don't have a team.
You're not even going to.
I imagine
you won't get a second rounder for him. I don't think.
I don't.
If they were out of the running for the West, sure, you entertain some of that. They're not. They're a half a game out.
Yeah.
So, they're not getting rid of anybody. They still have a clear path to the playoffs. I mean, as much as I enjoy that the Seahawks are technically in first place right now, they're not a championship team. The Niners are an injured championship team, right? Like they're a championship caliber roster. They get most of these guys back this year. It's not like these guys are on season ending IR. So there's no way they're going to blow this thing up. This is their last legitimate shot at winning a ring before they have to blow this thing up. So they're not going to try and get rid of anything. Like they legitimately are in the conversation of winning a ring. All they have to do is get out of this division.
We shall see. See.
I do think they're pretty hurt. They're hurt pretty bad. I don't know if they're getting Christian McCaffrey back this year, but that really hurts him. He's not. So that plus the addition of Brandon Ayuk tearing his ACL, that really hurts them. I don't know. I think you got a couple of guys still, Deebo Samuels, but you don't know if you can trust him.
Deebo is out in the hospital with pneumonia right now.
Yeah.
Right. He's going to come back. Right. But wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope he gets better. Back. Right. But he'll come back. But still, I mean, he's often injured too as well.
To be fair, Ayuk wasn't doing anything anyway.
Right.
Except getting paid.
He was getting paid. He was doing that.
By the way, I know I came in late, but where is James? He looks like he's in like a space capsule or something.
Well, I didn't
even recognize him at first.
I didn't want to bring it up. We talked about it earlier. James told me that he got in trouble with his wife and he has to sleep in the car tonight. So
all right. Well,
Don't believe that, Sonya.
I didn't even recognize him when I first logged on. I was like, "Who's the guest?" And then I saw your name. I was like, "Oh, that's K-Train." Seriously, I didn't recognize him. I was like,
sorry, I didn't mean to. I just was distracted by that since I've been here. So.
"He looks like he's doing a surgery for the military."
Yes, he is. So let's get to some MLB. Of course, we know the Yankees and the Dodgers are playing. I think they start Friday.
Yes.
I think the Yanks have better starters. I think both bullpens have holes in them somewhat. Maybe the Dodgers have a little edge in hitting. I'm not sure. I think it's going to be a great series. 7 games. I like the Yankees. I picked them to win the World Series, so I'm going to stick with them. But the Dodgers have just as good a chance, Keith, of beating our Yankees as the Yankees have out beating them.
It's a good baseball team. You saw against the Mets were as hot as anybody the last third of the season, and they really pretty much the Yankees. Danny knows I've been bad. He gets on me for bashing my team, but I don't walk around with rose-colored glasses. Yankees win this series in 7 games. It'll be close. It'll be tight. They need Garrett Cole to be Garrett Cole for the 2 games he pitches and be able to pitch it in relief in Game 7. And just don't walk 8 guys a game like the Mets did to help. The Dodgers they needed a traffic cop out there on the base pass. They had so many base runners. But I'm not going to degrade this. The Dodger pitching was better than I expected to be against the Mets. So I think this will be a really good team. And Ohtani's good. Edman is playing really good. He's playing clutch baseball for them. Some guys you would expect to step up have stepped up. So I think it'll be a really good series. 43 years since the last time the Dodgers and Yankees played in the World Series.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I wasn't even born.
Me either. I heard about it. I read about it in books.
Yes. We all study those great Yankee books. But anyway, I think what was it, 1981, if I'm not mistaken?
1981, yep. Strike season.
Yep. And that's when
year I was born.
Yeah, there you go.
I was born too. I was being funny.
I was 20-something years old, so I know.
I was 6, and so was James.
I wasn't. James. You were 6.
We're the same age.
We're the same age.
Real quick, real quick before we leave here. It's getting close to the top of the hour. WNBA Players Union opted out of current contract. Work stoppage projected for 2025. Listen, they're all still losing money. The WNBA is still losing money. They gave away tickets. Well, not gave away. Charged $10 a ticket for a championship seat. I don't even know if the NBA is still. I imagine they're still funding them, and there's no other network benefit. So
$40 million. What are you going to on strike for? I mean, you got to make money and put people in the seats to get paid. That's simple.
They also need to stop having a lot of the games on subscription-based channels. Don't make it hard to watch a sport.
Great point.
People are barely watching anyway.
Exactly.
It's a great
You better
point.
put this thing on PBS, honey.
Right? The old rabbit ears better pick this
Yes.
thing.
Give me the aluminum foil and a set of pliers.
For real.
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
I can still see me and my dad up on top of the roof trying to adjust that antenna so we can get a channel 55 or whatever the hell.
If they go on strike, will anybody even notice is going to be the question. I mean,
no.
Oh, no.
Right?
They'll be like, they quit.
With the amazing amount of hype, with all the hype of Clark and Reese coming out, most people still didn't know when the season started.
Yes.
Right? It went right from the championship to the draft. 4 weeks later was from the championship. 4 weeks later is the start of the NBA or WNBA. Most people didn't know when it started, and they were like, "Oh, this is going to be awesome," and they still didn't know.
They'll be like, "Oh, they quit." If they
I don't know.
They quit.
I don't know if you watched the championship, but they went 10 minutes without a bucket. There was air balls. you know,
I
it
mean,
was, it was.
the draft, Mac, was only 30 minutes. I thought I had missed something. I had tried to, seriously, 30-minute draft.
Oh, Lord. So anyway, folks, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all the comments, likes, loves, hopefully some shares. We love doing this show. Keith, I know, is going on vacation. He'll be coming in and going out for Sunday Night Football. I'll make sure I get you